Hey, welcome to another edition of Veterans Rant, Rattle, and Roll. Today I'm hanging out with Staff Sergeant retired Charles Campbell, who's hanging out there in Georgia. How you doing today, Charles?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for joining the show. Everybody,
Thank you.
if this is your first time seeing our show, we're here to talk about Charles's career, some of the things he did, some of the fun stuff he did, some rants and problems, things he overcame. But the reason is we want to share the stories to stop 22. We want to keep everybody serving with us. So let's get this thing started, shall we, Charles? How'd you end up in the Army, buddy?
Well, I was 18. I was married, newly married, had one stepchild and a child on the way. I had no high school diploma, and I knew I couldn't do it without a diploma. I knew I could not support a wife and two kids. So that was the best option I had, was to join the military.
So 18 years old, straight in the Army.
Yep.
Where'd you go to basic?
I did basic and AIT at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, originally.
And what was your MOS?
I started out as a 31 Victor, tactical communications operator mechanic.
Tactical communications operator mechanic. Don't say that when you're drunk.
Yeah, basically, at that time you were using, now this is how old, we still had rat rigs that we were training on, which is a teletype machine.
Okay. Okay.
The Vincent was still fairly new. Zingars was barely even being fielded at that time. So we were still using the 4.4 deuces, the 5.24s and the Prick 77s and such. So yeah, it was a long time ago.
I've heard of the Prick 77s. I've also been referred to as a Prick 7. Does that count?
Yeah.
So where did you went to basic training at Fort Sill, and then where?
Believe it or not, there was no transit involved. My basic was on one side of Fort Sill. My AIT was, 3 miles away. And my barracks, my AIT barracks and my permanent party barracks were less than a block away. So my first 3 years in the Army, I stayed at Fort Sill.
Man, that must have been rough. How many times did you run into your drill sergeant in the PX after you graduated?
Probably about 3 or 4. But after the first time, it was no problem,
So you said you started out as a 31 Victor, right?
Yes.
What did you change to?
When I changed, it was a 63 Sierra. Was it Sierra? Yeah, heavy wheel vehicle mechanic.
So you got tired of typing and working with radios and decided to go work with bigger stuff.
Actually, what had happened was my first 3 years.
There it goes.
Yeah.
There's an Army story. What had happened was.
What had happened was, when I got to my permanent party, I was assigned to staff and faculty battalion. All the instructors on post were in that battalion. So I went to work at the schoolhouse as an assistant instructor, as a private E1 and a private E2. I ended up down in their commo shop, replacing all the bad cables that the instructors messed up to put faults in the equipment. And I did a little bit of time at their battalion R&U and recycle department, basically going around, when you think of recycle, you really do some recycling. You go.
Okay, Charles, we got you back. Go ahead, buddy.
All right. Back to the recycle, it takes, you can say like a garbage man if you want, but it was money for the unit, money for the soldiers there in the unit.
Sure.
So that helped out. Yeah. And then, let's see, I did SD or special duty at the outdoor rec. And if anybody knows Fort Sill, outdoor rec goes to Lake Waurika, about an hour away from there. And at that time they had jet skis. So I was just riding jet skis on the weekend with everybody.
Now, this was in your first 3 years.
Yes. And plus I had SD working at Honeycutt Gym, which was less than a block away from my permanent party barracks.
How did you keep lucking out and getting all these hey you details?
Maybe I was a shitty soldier. I don't know. Maybe that's the impression.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, but it came time to re-enlist, and my window was
Re-enlist
open.
for jet ski duty?
No. I needed my high school diploma in order to re-enlist, and within that 3 years, I went and did the fast class or BSEP prep or whatever it was back then, and I kept telling people I wasn't here to retake my ASVAB. I was there to, as a GED prep, and I ended up taking my GED. I passed that, but instead of getting a GED, Florida, which was my home state, gave me a Florida State high school diploma. Woohoo!
Nice.
So that was really good. I passed that, and I went to my first sergeant and everybody. I said I'm putting in my terminal leave because at that time I didn't have my diploma yet. And I told him, I said, well, I need to be E4. I need my diploma. I said I can't re-enlist, and I've done everything I could do except got promoted to E4. They ended up saying, don't worry about it. Hold on to your leave form because you still got 90, 120 days left. I got promoted to E4, and right then and there I went to the re-enlistment NCO and said, let's do this.
Cool. What'd you re-enlist for? What'd you do? Where'd you go?
I re-enlisted for the school option for 63 Sierra. I went up to Fort Jackson, and when I left there, I went straight to Korea.
What years were you in Korea?
February of 90 to March of 92.
All right. So
yeah,
must have been an interesting adventure.
It was. I think I was on like Article 15, 4 or 5 during that time, 4 or 5 or 6, something like that.
Oh, I heard you can't make E5 without making E4 twice.
Hey, I've had 7 Article 15s.
7 Article 15s.
7.
I guarantee if I ever get to interview your first sergeant or your commanders, they're going to rant about you.
Believe it or not, all of them were for the same type of offense.
You're going to share what that is? What is it?
Missing the first formation.
Because you was?
Sometimes I wasn't in my barracks. I wasn't where I was supposed to be.
Is that because you couldn't wake up?
Exactly.
A little bit of that going on.
A lot.
Yeah. A lot, yeah. I was a professional drinker in Korea, I promise. Professional drinker in Korea.
Yeah.
Where after Korea? How many times did you deploy?
I deployed to Iraq once.
Okay. When were you there?
I was there with you with the that 18-month deployment or 15-month deployment, 06, 07.
Oh, yeah.
But before that, I wouldn't even call this a deployment.
Whoa. You were at 06, 07. I was deployed, but I was at Fort Hood.
Okay.
You and I didn't meet till we crossed each other's path in Drum, right?
Yeah. I deployed with August 06 to like October, November 07, or I think that's
sure.
What it was.
No, I was over there dancing around in Camp Taji with 2nd Brigade headquarters of 4ID in the PSD, but we're not going to talk about that job.
Iraq was a dirty place.
So you retired after how many years?
22 and a half active.
Did you say on your orders like mine, 22 years, 7 months, 21 days? Who's counting? If that would be the DOD is counting?
Yeah. I got lucky at the end. I really did. Did. During the time that you and I were on rear detachment for that deployment, my wife's health was deteriorating.
Right.
And I missed a lot of work. Thank God we had a good chain of command that saw the situation firsthand. And, I was taking precautions left and right. And I said, the heck with it. I really didn't have any outlook of what I was going to do when I retired.
Yeah.
And I rode my contract as far as I could. And I finally went to my psychiatrist and I said, let's do this. I'm ready to get out. I'm ready. I need to get out. And the lady said, okay, let's start your med board process. And that's all it took.
But you had 22 years. Why didn't you just put it in your packet?
I think something deep down in me told me, this was the best option to be med boarded after that many years, because I saw people before 20 years, just get out or med board, and the incentive was to get as much as possible. At that time frame, the Wounded Warriors Act allowed soldiers to draw Social Security while they're still on duty.
Yeah, I remember. I left the unit when you and I were together. It got transferred to, it became the S3 NCOIC for the W2U there on Fort Drum. And I got left on rear D with you because they said I deployed too many times, which I found really funny because shortly after that, I PCS'd to Fort Carson and deployed again. Times, please. All right, so tell me something. Something challenging. Give me a rant. How about something in the Army that drove you like crazy? Other than work.
I think two general areas.
All right.
The award system, and now this is going to stereotype some people, but not all.
Charles, I think we lost you again. It's okay. We'll wait. You started your career in commo, and we're having a little bit of a hard time with that here today, aren't we?
It's a big difference.
Okay, so we're going to rant about the award system. What up?
I think they're not given appropriately, and I'll give you some scenarios. A unit could be due an inspection from whether it be brigade level or division or higher. Now, theoretically, you could have your orderly room clerk, first sergeant or S1, S2, whatever. They hand you the paperwork to fill out. You fill it out. They should be inspecting it for any irregulars or deficiencies. Okay, put it in the folder and call it good.
Sure, I get it.
But when it comes time for inspection, oh my goodness, all these clerks that you have in the military have got to stay late, have to come in on their own free time and look at all the paperwork, redo it if need be. And you know what? They get AAMs or higher for the work they did on their own free time. Well, let's see. If people like mechanics or any other person that's not a clerk, any other MOS that's not a clerk, if they do their job that they're supposed to do, and for like me, I was a mechanic. We stayed late. We stayed late religiously. 90% of the time, the operators of the equipment stayed late with us. If their vehicle was deadlined, you're staying even later until the part gets installed, ordered, or on hand. Does the mechanic get awards for that? No.
So what you're saying is the mechanics did a lot of work all the time, and nobody even acted like they did anything, and then somebody else did a little bit, and they all went, woo, yay!
I'm saying they both did their job.
All right.
What they should have done in the beginning.
Got it.
But why does one get recognized more than the other? And that happens on a regular basis. Now, granted, you being infantry, you go get your EIB or EFMB or whatever the additional identifiers are, sometimes that's a requirement for the MOS. Okay, you got it. Number one.
Yeah.
Was you the distinguished honor grad? I would think that deserves an award because you have excelled more than the people there with you at the time. That's one thing.
Being a guy that got his EIB and also had to be on the lanes a few times, usually all I ever saw was awards for people who got their EIB that were called True Blue, which means they didn't have anything missed and they did 100%. Right. You're saying it's a good point. You said you had something else. What else? What else was a challenge? What else was something made you crazy?
Watching some of the females that were in the military. Um,
What?
yeah. Now, you being infantry, you deal with females on support roles, and I understand it. You may not have
anymore.
seen this.
They got Ranger females now, brother.
Yeah, SF and all that. But imagine this: what's the shortest time? What's the shortest time you can enlist for active duty?
Was never a recruiter, but I'm thinking 2 years. Oh, having commo problems again. Okay, fix the commo problem one more time. Go ahead.
Okay, so 2 years is a minimum enlistment time for active
Ooh,
duty.
I got that one right. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Basic and AIT usually last, 12 to 16 weeks?
Okay.
So that's 4 months. Say a young female comes to your permanent party, okay? Bam, within 30 days, she realizes she's pregnant, okay? So now you're up to 5 months. What's that leave? 16, 17 months left.
All right.
Well, she goes 9 months pregnancy. All right, has the baby.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as she gets pregnant, she's limited right then and there with her profile.
Sure.
Has the baby. And this is what really kills me is usually grandma comes and gets the baby. And the mom, the female soldier, she gets all these, BH, which she's entitled to.
Sure.
On post housing if she wants it,
Sure.
which she's entitled to. Family care plan has to be done.
Of course.
Or she could drag herself out and use the family care plan as a way out of the military. But you add up all that time frame, a single female comes in the Army, gets pregnant on a 2-year enlistment, and how much time has the military lost with 100% productivity for that female?
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from the females because I have seen some outstanding female soldiers.
So have I. Worked with some amazing. Worked with some amazing. Yeah. There are some females that are outstanding.
But I've had my share being associated or knowing a few females that were like the predicament I'm telling you about, and I can't work late. I got to go pick up my child. Damn, your child's with your mom. What are you talking about?
Well, on the bright side of all that, while I agree and understand what you're saying, on the bright side, at least in the military, they do look out for the pregnant soldiers, and they really go out of the way to do some good stuff. So I hear what you're saying. If you ran the Army as a business, which fortunately / unfortunately, they don't run it as a business because they did a lot of people get fired, right? But there's still a lot of outstanding people. So I get it. I understand that, Rant. It's a tough one. That's a tough one right there. All right, so let me ask you a question. So to get you off the grumpy side, tell me something funny. Come on, let's roll on the floor. Give me a no shit there I was story.
Came back from Team Spirit in 1990, and we were turning our weapons into the arms room.
Okay.
Well, the first sergeant there, he was married, and he had a Korean girlfriend. Well, he was in a hurry to get home to his girlfriend. Yeah. All of the weapons need to be cleaned again. So we go get the weapons and clean them, and it's time to turn them in. Well, first sergeant's in there eating cookies he got from the mess hall while he's inspecting weapons. And I'm looking at him. I turn back to my motor sergeant. I said, this motherfucker tells me my weapon's dirty when he's dropping crumbs in my weapon, I'm fucking leaving.
He was eating over your weapon.
Yeah. Dropping crumbs, telling me my weapon's dirty.
Okay, so tell us, did he say it was dirty? Did he say, hey, this has got crumbs in it?
No, that ended up real quick. They got turned in that time.
Crumbs in the weapon. Okay, so we've had the broken antenna story. We've had people saluting for each other story. That's pretty funny. And now we got the possible crumbs in the weapon. That's just right there.
Yeah.
So hey, we do these interviews. I chat with you guys, rant about our time in the military because we want to help stop 22. Because when people get out, you get out, you don't feel connected. If you knew somebody that was thinking about checking out, what would you say, Charles?
Don't, because it's just a temporary problem. It's just a temporary problem. But if you kill yourself, you've got a permanent problem for the people who know you, who care about you.